So in this tank I've got a breeding colony of Dimidochromis compressiceps, which is the fish known as the Malawi eye biter. Now they're not really an eye biter, it's just their eyes, their mouth sure looks like it would be designed to eat eyes. Now this is a breeding colony in here. You've got the male and you've got quite a lot of females. So as you can see, the male is much more attractive than the female. But you need to be very careful when putting these fish together because they are very aggressive towards each other. In this case I've got a really long fish tank, so the females are able to get away from the males, and there's not any fish in this tank where it's likely that they're going to crossbreed because there's such a distinctive shape. Most fish will either look at a distinctive shape or a distinctive colour, which will stimulate them to want to breed with each other. Now the key to these fish is to have a very busy fish tank where they're extremely diverted, their attention is extremely diverted. Because if they're in a small aquarium with very few females, the male will just beat up the females. So having as many females as possible and as many fish as possible in the tank is really going to divert the attention of this male and make it a lot more likely to breed with the females. Now they are a mouth brooder, so when the female is actually breeding, she'll have a mouthful of eggs, and you'll see that by her swollen gullet in her mouth. This particular guy doesn't bother the other fish at all, but he does definitely pick out the females and give them a fair bit of attention and chase them around. And once again, we are getting away with this because the tank's so big. So the key to breeding these fellas is to have 1 or 2 males in a tank as big as possible with as many other fish as possible, and then once you have a female that's got a mouthful, it's going to be easier just to remove her and put her in another aquarium. It's sometimes easier said than done. They're very hard to milk because they're quite hard to grip onto, and they do get stressed out pretty bad. They do really panic when they're being milked. So in a perfect world, if it is possible to put them in a tank where you can save the stress on the female and have her release, then that's better, but it's just not always possible because these do really thrash around when you get them out of the water. A beautiful fish. In the wild, they're often found in the shallow sediment-rich bays of Lake Malawi, and they often turn upside down like that, so their bar is facing up, and they get in amongst the vallisneria plant, so the little fry that might be trying to hide in the vallisneria plant are going to get eaten. And in the wild, the females are a beautiful golden colour, but somehow they lose that golden colour when they're introduced to an aquarium. Very barracuda-ish, these things. Spectacular fish. Really worth the effort.